So hey my dudes, Crinacle came out with a new IEM.
This is the 7 Hz Diablo. It was my first planar IEM collaboration with 7 Hz, and at the time it was designed to be the cheapest planar IEM on the market, and we succeeded. At least for a while. Nowadays, I admit.
So if we look at the Diablo, here we can see that in the mid treble presence region there's a huge sunken out hole. There's not enough mid bass or sub bass, so it's kind of weak in the bass. It's got quite a few problems. Weak bass that doesn't match the target, a little bit shouty here. Huge hole in the presence region here, and then it's very shimmery and airy. So very bad here, tonality problems, bad here, and weak bass, and then it just kind of jolts out in the highs. So it's pretty bad all the way up here and all the way down here. It's pretty bad. It's pretty wonky. So let's go ahead and see what he's done lately.
Yes, you can get cheaper planar IEMs, and thereafter the Diablo kind of fell out of favor. It's probably one of the more controversial of my collaborations.
Kind of sounds like crap.
We kind of just left it at that. But what most people don't know is that behind the scenes for the last few years, we have been working on a spiritual successor of sorts. So today, may I introduce to you the 7 Hz X Crinacle, Divine, and Diablo. So let's talk about it. So
let's look at the Divine and the Diablo. So if we look at this, the 7 Hz Divine and Diablo, basically the same thing all up here. One has too much bass, and the other one doesn't have enough bass, but it's a bit better. So Divine is technically better tuned. The only real problem is the treble is very chewed up, very jarring, very screwed up. That's no good. You just you can't have treble like this. That's really bad. And then again, one has blown out bass. It's supposed to have a nice smooth open clear treble, not these huge spiky harsh rip outs in the highs. They'll just really color the sound, deteriorate the sound, make it very lo-fi in the highs, which would be in the mid treble and air. Presence, mid treble and air, very harsh and fatiguing. And again, we can pull up models like the Simgot EM6L. Let's change it to yellow, so we can see how the Simgot EM6L, we could see how it's supposed to be done here. Obviously it's on a planar, but we have the appropriate amount of bass. We have a nice smooth open clear treble. You're getting a much more optimized sound with the Simgot EM6L over this horrible. And again, the Simgot EM6L is like $100. Okay, so let's go back to this goofy ass clown.
Let me just quickly summarize what exactly we have done with the new Divine and Diablo. Firstly, we have developed a new driver from the ground up. The Divine and the Diablo uses a new next generation 14.5mm planar that is unlike any other planar driver on the market.
It does have harsh treble, very harsh treble. My little Asian fish face.
Right now. As with many of my recent releases, these two IEMs are also tuned to the population average diffuse field, which is the latest research on how flat speakers in a room should sound like. And that also means that these two IEMs are the first and also only single planar IEMs to be tuned to this target. And of
most recent on how studio monitors sound like. Are you oh my little Malaysian boy.
Of course, there's also the twin release concept. You can see that the Divine and Diablo are two different models that are both not just a simple recolor, but also have different tunings. The Divine is more balanced, again following that tilted diffuse field response that makes it sound just mildly, ever so slightly V-shaped, and is more towards my own personal preferences. Then we have the Diablo, the Devil, that is tuned to what I perceive to be way too much bass, but at this point I know a lot of you absolutely love that shit.
Yeah, see, the Diablo has way too much bass, and I absolutely love that. Oh boy.
So here you go. Both the Divine and Diablo retails at $149 US.
A little bit more expensive than the Simgot. So this is basically if you want to be like, ooh, I've got a planar.
Sizzly are supposed to be sibilant, are supposed to be sharp. But that's really because, again, everyone's using the same driver. So if our new generation of planar drivers, we have completely tamed and controlled all of these treble peaks. These two IEMs are going to be the...
Did you really tame it, my dude? Did you really tame it? Well, at least like they're not going over the target.
smoothest sounding planar IEMs you are ever going to hear. And then we get into the
that's sad. That's the best you can do.
Bass response, which honestly didn't need too much tweaking, but at the same time, as you can see, a lot of people just tend to tune to the same bass level.
Yeah.
So with
It's supposed to have that much bass, you idiot.
our twin release, we wanted to show two different flavors that we can get out of this driver. First would be a more balanced tuning, something that you would expect out of a Crinacle collaboration.
Yeah, so a proper, the Divine, it's kind of weak. They made it just a little bit weaker than it should be, so you buy both of them, and then you're like, this is too hot, this is too cold, this is too weak, this is too bass heavy. Yeah, you know, that's what they care about, is pushing product. Like, they know the bass level it should be. He just said, you know, oh, they all have the same bass. That's because the bass level that it's supposed to be. But he's like, well, we're going to make it a little bit too low and a little bit too high. We're going to, you know, make it where you're not satisfied with any of this garbage and you keep buying more.
So with our twin release, we wanted to show two different flows is what happens when we take the Divine and basically crank the bass all the way up to 11. It is too much bass for me. It has a ton of sub bass. It has a ton of mid bass. Balanced be damned. And if all of that just gave you a hard on, Diablo's for you. And it's one of those things where, again,
I think we watched enough of this garbage.